365. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Kenya. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Dubai. Good morning, Lesotho. Good morning, Swaziland. Good morning, South Africa. Good morning, Zimbabwe. Good morning, Zambia. Good morning, Namibia. Wherever you are, 365 students, good morning to everybody and everyone else joining us. Guys, today is War Room number 48. Literally, War Room number 48. And I'm just going to kickstart it. We're just going to do a classic war room. We're going to go through a couple of charts. I did put it out there on the socials, right? Social media, exactly what I would like to look at. So hopefully you're following us on social media. But basically today I want to look at AUDCAD, Swiss franc JPY, Euro USD, Pound NZD, NZDJPY, silver, copper, and Dow Jones. Last year with the war rooms, I enjoyed trading what I like to trade, and there's many reasons for that, because I've been in the markets for so long. I have assets that I like, I have assets that I know at the back of my mind, but many of you are still going in this journey. So it's important that this year when I do my war rooms, they're even killed. So we might need to have more than one war room weekly. You know, you guys will let me know if that's a good idea. Please tell me in the comment section if that would be like a good idea, because I can't cover all assets in one sitting. Already our war rooms are about 2 hours. So maybe a war room on the Sunday, keep the Sunday's go, then maybe a midweek war room like on Wednesday to cover other assets that were not looked at on Sunday. Meaning we can start to build out more pending orders, which can keep running to create more cluster based trades. You let me know please in the comment section. I really need everyone hearing the sound of my voice to just say yes or no, or yes, but maybe not Wednesday, how's Tuesday or whatever, or why not do Sunday, Monday? So Sunday afternoon, Monday night, we do 2 live sessions of the war rooms. Just let me know. Monday is a free day for me. That's why I'm bringing that up. I won't be teaching any courses live on Mondays this year. I'm keeping my Mondays open. So that might be a good idea. We do our usual 4 p.m., 4:30 p.m. on Sundays, South African time. And maybe we do a 6 p.m. on a Monday. You know, let me know. Let me know in the comment section. I would appreciate that. Right, guys, so let's get cracking. Like, I'm looking at Nasdaq here, man. Nasdaq on the daily. And Nasdaq was part of the assets we spoke about on Sunday in War Room 46. So on Sunday on War Room 46, I posted this video explaining what I expected. And really, you can go back and review the tape and see why I always encourage people to take supply and demand, number one. Number two, why I always tell you rules will always protect you. Never trade what you want. You can see here, I went on waffling about a potential for a strong buy and how that wide buy, how that big buy could go all the way up back the trend line. But I caution that this is a dreamer's dream. What you need to pay attention to is what smart money has done to the daily demand. And I just want to quickly replay that clip, because you know it's one thing to tell people this. I mean, we've bought Nasdaq when price came to this demand. We made like serious good money on the buy. I told you guys I'm worried about this. And here's the clip. Here's the clip. November, and I like that price made us some money, or made me money. And those of you who took the trade, but also, you know, just be very careful when price leaves an area of value violently and digs thoroughly deep, right? Like, why? What's the aim? Because after that, there's nothing. There's my old zones where I bought from last year, right? Which those positions I came out of a long time ago. So we now need to investigate the possibility of the markets wanting to return somewhere all the way down there in the tech stock bubble, right? And right now, if you talk to, you know, Nasdaq gurus and all these global experts and your mentors on Forex pages, they'll probably tell you that it's incredibly impossible for Nasdaq to come back to 15,100, 1,500, etc., etc. And I think it's not. I don't think it's that possible. Right. So, and it was all over. Like, people thought Nasdaq has done a 10% retracement. Like, follow stock market stuff. Nasdaq had already done a 10% retracement. Therefore, it's now time to go up. It's now time to go up. Well, here's Nasdaq today, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the date is Friday, the 21st of January, and it's long past these areas. It's long drop. It's kept dropping that green zone that I kept talking to you about. And now we're here waiting to see what's going to happen. Right. So I always encourage you, stick to module 1 and module 2. Stick to the basics. We know that our areas of value are sensitive. We know that there is glass effect in our areas of value. We know that we wanted to buy here because because it was going to be a beautiful fresh touch. It was undeniable. We now know that there is a lot of sell pressure. All right, so I want to quickly show you something. You know, the master trader spreadsheet that I'm working on for you. Look at this. This is Nasdaq till to date. So till the absolute, I mean, today is Friday. So by end of day today, we'll finally get the you know, the latest data. And then the spreadsheet is also going to go live today, by the way, on Friday. On our remote course for students only. But if you look at Nasdaq, right? So I explained to you guys in War Room 45 how this spreadsheet works, and if there's a need for me to do a part 2, please tell me in the comment section. Remember, I only know what I know, and I only know that I've done a good part of part 1. But if there's stuff you've got questions, you want me to redo stuff, and every time I redo something, I always try to explain it differently. Just let me know. But look at this. But we can see that, you know, all of last year, like I did explain to you guys that when you're looking at longs and shorts on the Nasdaq here, right, the longs are there, but they're not that convincing, right? But you can see that they were trying to build positions, and then something happened in December, the usual stuff that happens in December. If we look at from about the 14th of December, right, there was a slow cooling, 62% of longs. The following week they dropped it to 60, then it dropped it to 55, 59, 50. So there's been a cooling, like you see blue here means cooling, orange means simply momentum. And remember, we're looking at institution buyers. I want to see the big banks really get aggressive so I can get excited, and it hasn't. Now, we spoke about our sentiment indicator and how I work that out. It's a simple formula. If you click here, you can see the formula. Basically looking at the net positions of non-commercial positions added to the commercial positions, which are heavier. And you just want to see which side of the table does money flow. You can see since the 14th of December, our sentiment indicator, this is not like an indicator like one that you plug on your MT4, MT5 that lags. We are literally looking at the actual calculation, value for value of order positions, right? I'm an order flow trader by trading, literally, by trading, like literally. So this for me is phenomenal information. It is mind blowing because all I have to do is look at this, look at my supply and demand. When the two meet, money happens, right? So you can see on the 14th of December, look at that. They're starting to have problems. There was a negative flow. There was more sell side sentiment, number one. Number two, you can see with the long positions here, because remember, I even wrote 365 at the top there for you. That really, at the end of the day, we can see that the longs are starting to cool and the shorts are starting to build momentum. And then when we come to the charts, we ain't confused. We're not surprised, because even if you don't have the spreadsheet, all you need to know is that the area, let's make it tighter. But to make this tight, all you have to know, right? We did it like this in last year's war because on H4 we found lower demands that we knew that we were going to target with 365 numbers, right? And that's in our module 2, by the way. And today is the 21st of January, so we've got a few more days left for you to get our full course at 50% discount, and then we kill the discount for the rest of the year, because yeah, it's just time not to exchange, time for money, right? We are very good. We're a good academy. We know what we are doing, and if you want to join us, please do join us. But we won't be sacrificing ourselves anymore to the extent of our detriment, right? So this is cool. This has happened. We know that there's a sell side sentiment, and now I'm wondering whether I should make a buy. Right, so price arrived here, but personally, I didn't put a pen in order after this war room yet on Nasdaq. Part of it thought it was going to happen, but I thought it was going to happen maybe in February or 2 weeks from now. Or what if they first pump up? I didn't see this happening as quickly as I didn't think I'd be that right that early. And so right now the zone, does not have a pen in order, and I like it. I like that price is sitting there. I don't trust it, right? So if we're lucky, and today we actually get data out on COT for last week Tuesday, then maybe that would be an interesting thing. But I can guarantee you, normally I have to wait for a very long time, even up to like 6 p.m. on a Friday night, waiting for the data to come out. So we'll see if it's out now. The time now is about 7:30 in the morning on a Friday. But I doubt it is, man. I mean, that would be a miracle, right? But whenever this data comes out on Tuesday, then we can talk about it on the Sunday war. When I have another war room this particular Sunday, This Sunday's war room will be live. We're going to do it live. So please get ready to log in live. What did I do? Right. So there we go. So this is Nasdaq positions, and you can see the latest data is last week. So they're still to add, right? They're still to add. We are nowhere close to what I want. But yeah, it's neither here nor there. Like I say, 55%. There's really not much to go on in terms of data. In terms of supply and demand, this will be a good time to buy. It's that simple. If you're very good at risk management, you don't mind taking the risk, this is a good time to buy. In terms of supply and demand, and your target is going to be somewhere up to there. Right, a clean supply may be one of those trades that want to make a touch there, etc., etc., etc. But this, to me, if it's yellow, it means I took this buys last year. So these were, I was climbing up this ladder with you guys in last year's war, giving out these signals. All right, so prices revisited a common area of explosion. So if you go to smaller time frames like H4, blah 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 blah, you can see there's some rejection there. I'm itching for a buy. I honestly am, and generally this year my job is to ignore more itches than usual. I want to ignore itches. I only want to take well-prepared plan trades. But I remember last year when price came here, created a value-based demand, came back for a retest, I took a buy. Right, so prices arrived back in this area, right? And it was at the 14,600. And now we've got Nasdaq sitting at a very similar place, right? Really trying to reach for 14,600, making solid bodies by 14,700. So yeah, if you're a cowboy and you actually see this war room in time, which I doubt because I'm only starting it now, and it'll only probably be on the internet at about 10 a.m. today, right? Maybe you want to get a decent number of points, somewhere there just to be safe, lock and leave. But they could shortcut you here. They could talk about a breakup structure and shortcut you there, right? But this is not the kind of trading I like to do. I like to take clear, open trades, right? But in terms of textbook style, this is a potential good short-term buy, all right? Or selling might continue. Selling might continue. And it looks like the January effect doesn't have to be a common thing, right? Looks like prices is fighting the urge to just give us a beautiful January like it normally does, right? So last year, or rather in 2020, we had a beautiful January effect, and then in February with COVID to kind of like calm us down, right? So, we've got the pattern that retail traders like here. I'm on the Mayorial time frame, and guys, to be honest, this is a bearish engulfing pattern, which to me, again, I like to be honest with you guys, signals some serious selling, some committed selling, which also tells me that the short-term buy could work, only to just give sellers an opportunity to get to sell high again. We get a pump here, boom, and then after that, we're going to get a good drop, potentially, right? But the drop now is looking wild, because if we break this line here at about 14,400, if price sinks lower than 14,400, we are going to have big problems, because we're really looking to drop all the way to 13,600. And again, like I said last week, all your Forex gurus and what will tell you that's impossible. It could never happen. Buy this thing, blah, 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 blah. It is a buy profile asset, but we cannot ignore market structure, right? Buy profile assets, you see this is a weekly time frame, can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beautiful weeks of a drop. It's called a dip, and I think this was COVID, right? So it's COVID dip, and this was not a 10% retracement, like many experts, assume it always has to be a 10% retracement in the stock market. This was a beautiful dip for Nasdaq, right? About 30%, right? Which was, can be shocking, but it's not uncommon for Nasdaq to have these very sharp dips for a month. This is a weekly time frame, guys. It's 4 weeks. So I'm not too surprised, right? I'm looking at the first week, 1, 2-ish, we could get another big red candle all the way down this. So just watch out on Nasdaq. Just watch out for Nasdaq. But yeah, without further ado, another thing to show you on the spreadsheet that's new. 365 students, I need you guys to vote. Maybe we should do a poll after I add everyone needs to go into the private group today. You guys should let me know. Is this a better way of doing signals? Is this a better way? And let me quickly show you what I mean. Fundamentally, because I want to be as efficient as possible with the little time I have to do the kind of things I do for the academy. which are generally outside my day-to-day routine. So I literally have to carve out time for this. And Mondays, which is my free day where I don't do any corporate trade, you know, or actually try my best not to go to the office. Monday is a good day for that kind of stuff. But if you look here on our spreadsheet, what I've been working on this week, what's going on? Yeah, share, no. Right, so I really hope I'm sharing the right screen too. Right, so in front of you should be my spreadsheet now. Right, so if you look here, you know, and again, I remember I explained how all of this works. So please, 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 if you have not gotten the chance to have a look at this kind of stuff, please do. Because, War Room 45, it is absolutely crucial that you understand, you know, what's going on here. But then on the pending order list, here are some pending orders I've already put in from War Room 46, right? War Room 45, 46, the ones that we've done on Sunday. So I've added a couple of trades. As far as I know, AUDNZD has already been triggered, and that's what we're working on right now. Right, so I'm building my cluster list. Now, 365 students. So you see here, if I write private plan, it means it didn't happen in a war room. I was just by myself, and I just started, you know, working on it, right? And the reason why is I want to have a statistical outlook by the end of the year. Guys, I gave you guys 300 signals in the year 2022. This is how many were profitable. This is how many, no. This is our 2022 win rate, our risk reward ratio rate, our profitability, our losses. I want it all out and transparent, right? So you can see I've been building, and you guys will have access to all this stuff. But these things are literally, we did AUDNZD in the last war room together. Gold, Nasdaq, etc. EURUSD already been kicked out of that short-term buy. I made a post about it, explaining why I lost this particular trade, right? And so they're on a bigger account, a bigger lot size. All of this is in line with the stuff that we spoke about. So there's been some development here. So my question to you is, as quickly as possible, so we can start today's forum, is this better? Is this a better way of presenting our signals to 365 Academy students? Would this work better for you guys, is what I'm trying to ascertain, or the way we normally do it? So if you guys remember in the remote course, if I can just quickly show it to you, right, so if you join us, you'll get access to a folder that looks like this. By the way, module 4 and module 3 are going to be added. Module 4 probably first, because that's trading psychology. Very excited about that. We start that in February. But right now in the academy, you will get something like this, a full document. This takes more time, all right? But I just want to know, is this better? This particular setup where I tell you the entry point, stop loss, and I've got the whole diagram and a whole explanation. But if I do it like this, it means once in a while I'll skip a week because of time, right? Because of time, right? And this will actually disappear as soon as we move to our official Discord. I finally took time to really understand and study Discord. So thanks Alvin for that, and the patience and all that kind of stuff. I actually really looked into some tutorials so I can use it effectively. So this is how I've been doing my signals for students only, or we just keep them as simple and clear as day on our master spreadsheet like this, because I trust you guys would understand that all of this is based on my broker, like my entry point, my stop loss on my broker, and it won't be based on how TradeView quotes currency. It will be based on my broker. But a 365 student would be able to see the actual demand or supply zone that I'm looking at. So just let me know what's better, guys. So please, guys, please do come back to me on all the things I've asked you to just comment. Just every time I ask something, just comment immediately in the video, so that I have a string of conversations, so I know how people feel and what they want. Right. So on to today's war room. Thank you for your patience, but I think that was necessary for us to deal with all of that stuff. Right. So I'm going to be looking at the assets that I spoke about, and the first one is AUDCAD. AUDCAD. Can we make some money from AUDCAD? Right, so we are already selling from last year. By the way, that's why it's not on the spreadsheet, because when I was looking at this, I wanted to come up with a pending order, and there really isn't much to do. I mean, personally, I'm not going to be able to take another risky trade or add a position. I've looked twice already. I will not be, I mean, you could come wait here. So let's go to Saxo. So for those of you who are completely new to this chart and it's your first time, have we broken our supply and demand curve? Yes, we have, right? So we need a new supply and demand curve in this chart, right? You see price has really moved down on the curve. So I might have been teaching on supply and demand curve last year when we took the trade, right? So let me just remove all of this stuff. Let's get a clean chart going down. Right, so I struggled during the week to put a new pen in order on this chart because fundamentally, I don't see a safe place to sell anymore, if I'm being honest. And I hate the long wicks, right? Because they're very deceptive. I thoroughly hate them. So I'll do something like that and you can still see that they're there. That's number one. Number two, for the most part, price is going down for the most part, right? The profile this is just a range asset, by the way. You don't come across range assets a lot, but they are there. There are a few of them there that actually need to be profiled, you know, in that manner, right? So this is probably one of the few charts where if you're a support and resistance trader, hey, you might want to only stick to this one here because then you can make some money. And better your odds, right? But look, man, you know, outside of the range, the second reason why I don't want to add anything else to this thing is the consistency of this chart is it's downhill. And we from last year we definitely have a very good position in the chart, right? So in terms of messing up a selling position, I would not advise it. I would not advise, you know, closing too early. I rather see it through, see AUDCAD through until the end. If you can be a little bit more patient, we are about to come to the end of this particular, you know, trade. But if you are not in it and you're looking to add, number one, remember, I'm classifying this as a risky trade. That's number one. Number two, I'm letting you know that I will not be taking the additional sell trade with you because I already have a competitive edge at the top. And I don't want to mess that up. But let's try and see if we can find an entry that might be appealing to some, right? And I'll go back to normal candlesticks. Just when charts are this choppy, this messy, it is so much better for me, right? So we've got a classic pattern. That's why for me selling, you know, is key. Markets have been creating, you know, lower highs, right? That's number one. My basic market structure, right? Basic market structure. Markets have been very good at maintaining lower highs, and in doing that once in a while, also blessing us with lower lows, just to let us know that, you know, everything's okay. We're still going down, right? So we've got that situation there, although momentum is starting to kind of like even up, right? So maybe it's a consolidation phase and markets are going to break out, etc. Right. Number two, on the daily time frame, while we are going down, this is a dangerous area to even ignite any sell positions. Only up until price has broken it, right? So I'll explain why. Because that's a buying place. Right? Even though we're in a downtrend, you know, they could be buy orders there, right? And the way to understand it is for you to get the consistency of lower highs. Markets once in a while need to buy from these bottoms, go back up, but not above the previous structure, but they need to swing up. This is a daily chart. So this is from the 24th of August all the way to the 8th of September, where price was actually going up, only to come down, only to go up, only to come down, only to go up. And so I would advise zero selling down here, right? So for me, yes, maybe, just maybe, if I'm being honest with you and I really was desperate for a trade, I would have to wait for this to happen. So why? Because this is in line with the structure. Number one, price is going to maintain the lower high because it's going to come somewhere here and then come there and then continue down, making sure that they don't break this situation here, this pattern of lower highs, etc. And then the next lower high being here, you know, as presented to us by the current supply. And so if you're not yet in this trade, then absolutely you are more than welcome to come and, you know, wait here. I'm okay with the imbalance. It looks kind of like okay, it meets, you know, most of our basic needs. Now let's come up with a target for this trade. Let's come up with this. So every time you see there's an order block, price came back to it, price came back to it, price came back to it. So price might come back to us, right? And I would continue to hold my current position that we're already in from last year. And trading in the first quarter of the year is always like this. There's always business left over, right? Because really, for me, a financial year is much too much. So you're looking at the fourth financial quarter right now, even though a lot of people like to think a year is between January to December, and so quarters are January 1st, the first quarter is in January, February, March, all the way to December. But in my experience, most financial markets move from March to March. All right, if you see Nasdaq's behavior every March, you'll start to understand. When I tell you that banks take profits in a year, a lot of those annual take Ps are happening in March. So I still think we're in the fourth quarter of a financial year, and not the first quarter of the new financial year, if that makes sense. Right, so we are literally biting off leftover trades. If you see everything, EURUSD hasn't perfectly arrived at a governing demand. It's making its way there, right? It's still in its financial leg, right? So there's some price action there. All right, that's a good target. That's a good target if you're patient. The reason why I'm a little bit worried is because markets have started to create, some type of roof here. And that could just be sellers marking their territory, right? That could just be sellers saying, no matter what happens, price doesn't go above here, right? Could also be sellers saying we need to slowly start a process of glass effect because we want to break up one day. So we need to start extinguishing all the sellers here, right? So let's switch to normal candles and see what's going on. Right, so this is our usual outlook. And somewhere in here, which will be very much in line with this weekly bearish government, I think would be a better place to wait. I do believe this is a better place to wait. So the zone that we mark in red would be a better place to wait than you trying to take any sell positions here. Yes, price will leave you, and yes, it might feel like forever waiting up here, but it is not, right? And it's really where we took our initial sell positions. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to go back to my live analysis place, right? So we wanted to sell right here, and that's where I'm saying you should come back and wait, right? Because this was an attempted retest of that, right? So this, the trade we took was an attempted retest of that, and now it created its own new area of value, right? Just take note, price might turn early, but if it does, it will turn without me. If I'm going to take another sell trade, because I don't want to, but if I am going to take another sell trade, I would rather wait for it right here, right? I would absolutely rather wait for it right there. And that's just that, guys. So I'm going to remove this main swing is in effect. I'm going to leave that there. And just let me know if you're still holding. Right? Really, this year, I would like to get a lot of people just being a little bit more comfortable with holding their trade. I'm going to delete this just so we can see better. I'm going to delete that, and then I'm going to, put a pin in order somewhere here, personally, to add to that, right? But I am definitely not sacrificing this that's currently running right now, right? So this is the trade that we took together last year. Please remember, we spoke a lot about this, main swing area that was created. We put a pin in order there, and we got triggered, and price is still running down, right? Selling down here, terrible idea. If price, however, does not come back here and first comes down there, I'll be very worrisome. The next time we go war, we might be having to delete this pin in order, right? Because this is a strong area to buy, changing of the tides. So if we don't get a change of character from price and we actually get a nice pullback, this pullback I don't trust. I'll prefer price to come all the way up here, right? So that's AUDCAD done. 2 weeks from now, everyone's going to be like, you didn't tell us. Right, Swiss franc JPY is our next asset for the day. What you guys doing on a Friday? Some of you actually have like work as well. So I appreciate you for watching my videos because, I'm just a trader. So I have a lot of time to make this type of content, but I can't imagine trying to catch up with everything that I'm doing and your everyday work. It's yeah, right. So I appreciate that, right? So again, I did bring this up, I think on Sunday, buy one. I closed to profits, closed a bit late. It would have been nice to have marked. I don't know why my TP wasn't triggered. Maybe it was too deep, so I put this somewhere in there and I quickly closed it, right? And there's nothing I want to do now. I am going to literally wait. And just so you know, 365 students and the public who's not yet registered, all this stuff is generally how I operate. Remember the document that I showed you from the remote course? This came out from phase 1, right? So let's start. This was, I don't know, I don't even remember when. This was predicted on the 28th of October last year, right? So I can open it quickly, right? And they did. So I gave you 2 buy positions on you know, Swiss franc JPY, and this is the one that's happened. That's already happened right now, right? So just saying, you know, we are very good with the sit and forget type of stuff, right? So price came, hit, right, and I personally closed data, and I think because my TP was high, so it wasn't triggered. Then price started to fall. And I noticed it at some point here, then I quickly closed and kept these profits. I have no intention of buying here again. All right. And the buy could work. And if it does work, it's fine. It will leave without me. And the reason for that is buy one did not do a good job of weakening the supply. And that's very important. We have to be aware of how price leaves zones, how, you know, how often price digs through a zone as glass effect, as glass effect been put in place. Now, if you look at this supply, I was actually quite shocked at how I drew it at first, because I must have taken account of its weekly character. If we look at the daily character, this supply is typically like this. All right, and this supply was tagged there, which means, you know, buy one has not done anything to a fresh, you see, that's the real you know, profit taking target. And so I could have been in a sell for Swiss franc JPY, but I'm not, and I don't think I'll be looking for one. I think you know, there's a possibility, if you know how to read your zones and levels correctly, you can find a sell. But I suspect price is going to come here. Right, price has got some unfinished business there, and that's going to be a beautiful buy that I want to take, right? That I already have. We already have these pending orders set. So from this document that I gave to you in October, it's already there. All right, it's already there. I'll be moving some of these pending orders that have not yet been triggered into the, what's it called, into the master spreadsheet as well. But we are already looking at this particular place here. Price is due to come here. We've been waiting for this since October. Buy one has been triggered. Now I'm asking you, be patient. Do not do something silly, right? So let's wait for this to come to fulfillment. But if you are a good trader, feel free to look for selling. I never sell if my governor is not really interested in selling, right? And we did talk about why, you know, Swiss JPY was going to be a very good uptrend. You can see that the real governing supply is far from being reached. Because of that, I would like to take one more buy before we can get up there, right? So it's going to be a good trade for the first and second financial quarter of this year. So Swiss franc JPY, we're waiting for buy 2. Not much to be said. EURUSD, my money maker for 2020. At 2021, yeah, this is my biggest asset. I make my most money in currencies from EURUSD. I know this because I'm a trading journal that statistically keeps track of everything I do in the Forex market, right? So this is my favorite asset, right? So when I get a good position in this asset, I like to hold. I love to hold. This asset will make me money, right? We know that price is going to have to come back here to the best buy. So it's just a weekly demand. It's a distraction. EURUSD is still weak. What you don't want to do is to make a silly mistake of, so let me just delete all these lines because it's just not a class student bother explaining them right now, right? What you don't want to do in life is to make the mistake of selling low in something that's already very low in its supply and demand curve, right? So USD is a very low, right? So what we want is a retracement up. It's still very weak. We want a retracement up. It is allowed to do what it is doing. It is the law of supply and demand. You've got daily demand on the left side. It's supposed to try and push up while dollar is suffering. And in that suffering, it will create an opportunity to allow us to sell high, right? So I already have it mapped out here, just a little bit more clearly for you. This is my game plan for EURUSD. All right. Let's delete this channel. This was a terrible idea Not only that, but it's useless to us, right? So the only trade here for me is a sell. I want to sell somewhere up here inside this weekly supply, right? Somewhere there. And if we go to the daily time frame on Euro USD, you will see I have been quite picky with my zones. So I'd rather wait for a setup that looks something like that, right? I'd rather wait for a setup that almost covers all of this, something like that. Right, and then just wait out the ups and downs in the zones. Just wait out the ups and downs in the zones, and then when price eventually makes it in there, hold until the promised land. Right, so there's going to be a nice 1:3 trade on Euro USD. All right, so it's done. Yeah, I talk like this, it's done. Master, you know, I don't know if you guys can see it. Master trader spreadsheet, it's done. Euro USD sell there. Put it in, right, on both accounts, I believe, right there. And Euro USD sell from War Room 47. All right, I already did a War Room on this on Tuesday, actually. I do remember telling you guys as well. Put it in right there. Right, so all I have to do now is just wait for that particular trade to be triggered, right? You want to see Euro USD in terms of how big banks have been building the positions. You know, not much to be said except for what we already know, right? There's still very much more negative orders than positive. What's happening with the dance is institutions keep trying to stop traders out. Well, when you see it like this, guys, close 49% longs, 50% shorts, they really will be long wicks and short ranges and ups and downs, almost like a tug of war where they're just getting retail traders out. So it's very important you choose a very strong area of value and you just hold your ground there, right? You see all these spikes, 49, 50%, this is exactly what it does, right? So you will always be stopped out if you're a range trader, right? So price has made its way down there. We expect a gradual return up, but my only action is up here. I'll be taking that trade, right? So that's Euro USD done. Pound NZD. Pound NZD. Perfect. Last year's trade, you know, went out without a hitch. Really not much to say there about pound NZD in terms of last year. I think the real question now is there any type of play for pound NZD in the future in terms of trade retracement or trend reversal? And that's what I want to focus on. So let's go back to the basics of pound NZD. Right, so a couple of things that I didn't like. One, it's kind of like outside a trend line, but not really. Two, it's got a supply pause, but it's not a strong supply. Three, this upward moving, right? And I'm talking about big picture, like I'm talking about, you know, when it comes to our governor, we really want to understand what this guy's been doing for a very long time. There's a sell profile asset making its way back up. And the question is to what, right? There was a supply there that it kind of like triggered and then it fell for the whole of COVID, the whole of 2021. And now we're in 2022 and price is almost trying to recover, almost like a retracement type of recovery, right? I mean, it's still very too close for me to call this a change of character in price per se, right? So let's come to normal candles. So the reason why we took that buy was it was obvious that it was going to be a simple buy. What's not too obvious for me is where to get a classical institutional sell. So let's maybe have a closer look together. Let me remove some old zones that we no longer need. So definitely here I see glass effect, right? And that's worrying. Number one. Number two, if price continues in this pattern and one day comes out on the other side of this trend line, you know, it'll be almost predictable that price is going to sink lower. Bearing in mind, this has always been a sell profile asset. But you can see it's been a sell profile asset since, you know, 2000, since 2002. Right, and then a much more closer look on pound NZD would mean the following things. Well, number one, pound NZD left a supply and then found a demand, and now, in my opinion, is leaving a demand going back to a supply. The problem I have with this asset is how big is the supply? Because if the supply is this big, the argument is, well, it hasn't really arrived there, so we can hold buys. I'm already out of that buy. So as I hit that daily supply, I got out. And remember, if you're new to my course and you finish module 1 and module 2, don't worry about what other people are doing, even in the group, because they are now more senior than you. They can play on those small time frames. You want to build your capital, build your confidence with the rules. So you stick to daily demand, daily supply, daily demand, daily supply. Create that short-term swing. Some swings will be 7 days, some will be 3 days, some will be 10. But get that momentum going first before you can venture into smaller time frames, right? So the supply could also be this big, right? From week to week. And then that for me is where the bigger problem begins. So for clarity, I do something like that, and then I realize, okay, well, what if the supply is this big? You know, it's just, and I think that's a better, that's the situation. So potentially the buyers could keep going for a little bit longer, but I am not invested in this asset, to be honest with you. I've made what I wanted to make out of it, and right now I don't want to play with money, man. I don't want to play with money this year, or in general, yeah. But this is the day supply that kicked me out, right? But it kicked me out, I think, a day or two ago, 3 days ago, 2 days ago, actually. There. All right, so, and price had been there, so plus effect, it's a strong bearish engulfing pattern, strong drop, blah, blah, blah. But I do think it's done its job, so, if I was greedier than I normally should be, then maybe I would have held longer. The annoying part about the daily supply is the fact that it's embedded in multiple supplies. So that's why I prefer to get out of any buys here. So that if the supply that I got out of is weak, well, what about the one above it, right? So how many sell orders are suffocated in here, right? So that's pound. Pound has also been interesting because it's not like textbook following the nature of euro, which normally it should, and it does when it comes to day-to-day activities. But when you look at how its orders are stacked up, it's actually got some strong bullish characteristics, unlike the euro, despite the fact that they have been consistently adding sell positions. So there's a big drop coming for pound. There's a very big drop coming for pound in my humble opinion. But when that switch will be is that thing that I said I was going to teach you guys, the 13 weekly moving average. There won't be time in this video. Please, guys, comment down below if you want a COT master spreadsheet part 2, because I don't want to make my videos unnecessarily long. But yeah, so we could do a 13-week moving average, which is to calculate the last 13 weeks of orders and see if the latest order is going to be above or below that. That's basically all that is. And it's an added sentiment indicator that always tells me ahead of time that price is about to pivot or change direction. I can always anticipate an original turn or a change of character, in that particular way. But I don't think there's space and time for this right now. So this is the weekly time frame. On the daily time frame, I'm going to keep it simple. When one of these red candles probably got out here, to be honest with you, that's why I'm like, it wasn't yesterday, it was like a couple of days back. I probably got out somewhere there when I saw that, and then I saw price, kind of like recovering, and I was already out of the trade. No harm lost, no harm found because of this, right? On the left side, there's a strong, there was and is like a drop here. But the weekly supplies that we're investigating are inside this cluster, right? And the stronger supplies to really look out for inside this cluster are the following. I feel like someone in the comment actually asked me to look at pound NZD. So I hope I read all your comments and I'm taking notes. So I hope this helps you. Someone requested this, right? So price is really inside, and it's like a very, very, very big sell battle that one is about to face. So in terms of pound NZD, I am tempted to wait for now. I really am. I don't know why, but I am very much tempted to wait. I know one of these supplies is going to be so potent. I'm going to wish I was in it. And it might be too late to jump back in. But right now, it's about 400 pips. There's no ways I can mark up a zone like that and stop loss over it. I'd have to go half of 0.01 in this particular trade, right? So until there's clarity what is going on in this area here, right? And where price would like to go, how deep price wants to go into this governing supplies. Pound NZD, I am sorry, I've just given an analysis, but I will not be taking a bold trade idea on it. Yes, maybe come Sunday or next week when we do another war room, when we come back to the asset, maybe there'll be clarity here. NZDJPY, I am not in this trade. Why? I am not in this trade. Why? Right, let's try and find some money in NZDJPY, right? So price was doing its thing, right? So this is just basic scenario analysis. Those of you who are going to take my module 3, you will learn about scenario analysis. It is extremely efficient, and no one does it but me. So it's pretty much a trading style uniquely from my PhD thesis, right? From my research. Scenario analysis, and I've had read a lot of fun, right? So I'm just going to leave that there actually. I have to delete it because it'll take forever to me to explain what it is. Right, so price has done a good job of demonstrating its true colors, right? So with these zones here on the smaller time frames, markets arrived at a supply here. Let's make that yellow because yellow is supply means sell. And let's just tighten this stuff up there, right? So we had that situation there where price was leaving governing supply, and this is NZDJPY, which should mirror, you know, a lot of the characteristics in the NZD, USD, and all that stuff. And the temptation to draw a trend line here is you know, real and strong, and I understand it, right? I want to buy here, just so we're clear. Positional traders, I want to buy there. And by the way, guys, Walton 3 years, I will be adding strong positional FX stuff that you guys should hold on IG markets. It's very, like remember I told you guys, have a second account. Oh, it doesn't have to be IG markets, it can be arbitrary, whatever you want. But I did say, please remember, I'm going to teach you how to invest simply using the Forex market. Have an investor, you know, a second account where you're doing positional trading. This is the kind of post we're making. I'll teach you. Yeah, you'll see. Those of you in the world in 3 years, just look out for my email this weekend. Right, so this is what's going on here, right? So markets have tapped, you know, somewhat of a supply that really was involved in somewhat of compression, and my heart's desire is that supply gains the momentum it needs, right? So fundamentally, I would love to see that happening, but it's way too early. NZD right now is, you know, kind of fighting back a little bit. You know, you can see that the longs are pulling off and the shorts are starting to build momentum, right? So that's nice to see about NZD. Because if the shorts are building momentum, it means the currency is slowly but surely weakening. And so when the weakening takes off, and you can see the spreadsheet, this one here is a little bit behind in data, right? So we need to see what happened on the 11th of January. Then we'll see after today, in the next 2 weeks. But I would love to see more momentum. I want more momentum, and then I want them to push those sell orders into a strong short bias. So I want to see 70% plus of sell orders. And when that happens, maybe I'll take a sell trade, maybe I won't. But more importantly, what I want from this asset more than anything right now is to buy. I want to buy NZD at the bottom, right? So I need price to bring NZD for me, right? So I'm hoping I'm sharing my charts right now, screen 2, right? So I'm hoping price to push back down. But for the most part, we can see that the momentum has shifted to the drop, right? So we could actually catch both. We could catch both. Let's just quickly break this down time frame per time frame to create a golden multiple time frame analysis. So this is the mayoral time frame, right? And we're even killed here, right? Markets are reacting to what was a previous low, previous broken zone, blah, blah, blah. Pretty sure there's some type of demands as well somewhere in here. Really not that interested in. Buying here will be absolutely dangerous, right? Buying will be dangerous, right? So what we want to see is prices starting to break this, right? So this is last high, and then you can see now price made a lower high, right? So then we can start to really, you know, expect something like this. And then boom, back there. So that shot up, that's what I want to catch. But in terms of selling right now, you know, I agree that, you know, most of this is pushed to the sell side, and is what the daily looks like. So I would wait here. NZDJPY, I would wait here. Now, if this doesn't work, it's really going to be tough, because then, not tough, but take the L, you know, proper risk management. You take proper risk management, you have nothing to worry about. Your job as a trader is to always average out profitably. Carrying losing trades and winning 1:3 on the winning trades means you do that with ease, right? So these are the two only sell places to take on this chart. I repeat, only take sell positions here and there, right? So this one looks a bit clustered. If you really map it out carefully, you don't get the imbalance rule, number one. Right? You don't get like a very clean, convincing imbalance rule. Like, if you're really looking at it, you can see that there was a supply, it was tapped, it worked, but it's not really the type of supply we would be proud of, right? Literally at the back of a bullish engulfing pattern, price fell, etc., etc. This one could also work, but for me, it's way too low in the leg, right? It's just almost like a clear ambush waiting to happen, and yet it could work. So what I like to do in cases like this is not to rush the process. So I really am even more excited about the idea, right? So now when we look at volume-based trades, we can see the imbalance was met at price level. But we also know, could this be, okay, fine. We could consider this a peak supply, and then we could make the call for a retest, right? We could make the call for a retest here. We could make that call if this can be considered a peak supply. Peak supplies, I teach you guys about that stuff in module 2. All right, there we go. But Leroy wants to sell here. Right? I want to sell it. Right? Now, technically speaking, I could have two pending orders, right? One, I could put one here because this is a 0.382 is a PCP area, right? I could have one there, but if I do, I would be very careful and make sure I get out here. All right. I'll be very careful and make sure I get out here. Okay. So for me to take that trade now, because this one from my eyes, I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be a clean 1:3 or if it's going to be an acceptable R&R. Okay, so I'll take this. This is a high risk trade, right? We could win it, we could lose it. And then when price comes down here, because my governor is selling, I might ignore it, right? So then when price comes back there, I want to sell. And when I sell there, it's a sell with intention. I want to sell all the way down to where I want to be back. So this is going to be my two big trades on NZDUSD. And this big trade, by the way, the second one, the second sell, is the money maker. You are the money maker, ma'am. Ma'am, you are the money maker, right? So my artworks. There you go, and then my reward, that's going to be 1:9, and that's really beautiful. 1:9, right? So two sales on NZD JPY. All right, one here high risk, and then another one there golden ratio. You just fresh touch. You cannot ignore this, right? So there, NZD JPY is cooking. Don't say I didn't tell you. Silver, XAG USD. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Silver. You know, beautiful sell. I don't know if you guys remember this last year, but this was phenomenal. And now price is almost returning. Oh, yeah, actually, price did return. I didn't catch this one. What did that one? Didn't care about that. Don't know why. Maybe I got distracted in life. I don't know. Let's see now what to do. Right. So silver got to the actual. It was one of the few precious metals, by the way, that actually met its annual target. For example, oil isn't a precious metal, but oil didn't make its target, right? It didn't get to the $100 that I wanted to see. It did get to, I think it got to exactly where Goldman Sachs thought it would get to, which is like 45 bucks. Sorry, 84, 80 something. Did not make it. I mean, this is a CFD. Where is crude oil? It didn't even get there, right? So okay, fine. So oil didn't even make it up. Oil didn't make it up to 84 bucks, right? So short-term buy trade, I've already been take profit's already been hit here. I'm not in an oil trade anymore. This was a good call. But now, I'm stuck with oil. I really am, because I want to get back in, and I'm praying for a retracement. But anyways, let's not jump the gun. We'll deal with oil on the day it's time to deal with oil. This is why our war rooms get too long, because then I just get too excited, like I'm a kid in a candy store, right? So we're looking at silver, right? And silver now has sold once, and this is a crazy type of consolidation. You can see markets are raging. You can see markets are boxed in here, right? So it's neither here nor there, but markets are ranging outside of a supply. You have to see this. You have to see that there's a supply that is commanding things to go down, and price has kind of gone down, but also stopped going down. It's building a big position. It's building a big position. Now, that position could be for the upside or the downside. Now, in our master spreadsheet, is there anything that could give us an inclination? Would there be a person in the world who put together such a dope spreadsheet to tell us what to do? Leroy, we're looking at you. Okay, so maybe I need to catch up. It's like 21 December is where I stopped, right? But you can see, right, that since September on the table, sell. But you can see from the institutional side of things, right, that they were very long, and then they started to pull off, right, up until Christmas time, right? And the shorts kind of like remained. It's a pity I don't have everything mapped out here. And I mean, it'll take a little bit of time to build it up with you right now. But we just behind 28 for January. We're just behind by 3 weeks. But for the most part, you can see that on the table, there's more money to sell in general, both non-commercial and commercial positions. Yes, longs on our side is where we are, but pulling off is never a good sign. Number one. Number two, we only want to move on strong and very strong biases. So I would wait to see. So my point is, on the chart, when I see my master spreadsheet telling me that they are now pulling off longs, but there's also more money on the table to sell, and I get to my charts right here, and I see that there's a strong range, I'm inclined to believe that there might be more action to the downside. I am inclined to believe that there might be more action to the downside. And if that happens, for silver and we need to keep track of what's going on to gold, then this will be sad. This will be sad and nice. Sad because I actually invest a lot in silver. I own a lot of silver coins. Because they're cheaper. They're cheaper than gold. Why would I run to buy gold when silver is like 21 bucks? Much cheaper to own that stuff, cheaper silver notes, blah, 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 etc. And then just wait for a big pump one day in the later future. So this would be nice to buy more again. And for a trade, I may not have to really, I struggled with that sell, the first one I took on silver last time. I struggled only because, for me, these are always, more profitable buy profile assets, but it is not my world. So, right, so we made contact with the supply. There's really nothing to stop us from falling right now on the governing time frame. On mayoral time frame, there's really nothing. Price is just doing its thing, right, guys? Let's not be stubborn. Let's not be stubborn, right? So this sale works. Time to find another sale. Let's just not be stubborn. This thing wants to fall. Who are we? Who are we? Who are we to stop silver from falling? If silver wants to fall, it'll fall. So silver used a classic module 1 order block. That's why we sold. Then with the bearish engulfing pattern here. And those of you who took the retest, good for you. I was not in this, but yes, there's a good way to sell, a good reason to sell. And now we are trying to figure out what's going to happen next. I wish I had sold the gain here, to be honest with you, in hindsight, only because it's not. Where's the 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah, only because if we're to sell silver, we should have sold yesterday. Yes, had I done this war room just one day earlier. Man, this is why we should have a war room every day. Right? So right now this is happening. There's nothing I can do. So I'm gonna delete all this good work that we've done in the past. I'm gonna let it all breathe because it happened, right? So I'm not in this, and I can't jump in now. Remember, if I jump in right now to day selling silver, I have to be as thick as a politician, right? Because I'm gonna get destroyed. Look, I have to really over risk for a target, you know, that's unbearable, right? We have to first wait for a clean break of market structure. Yes, we've got rejection here, but let's really cleanly break this market structure. So me being me, I want to sell silver, but I'm going to wait for it to come up here. Leroy, but will it first come up there before it goes down? I don't know, my brother, but what I am going to do is wait. I've been praying for you, wait. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait here. I'm going to park my sell pin in order right there on silver. This is the word. This is the final word. I am selling silver right there. Everything else doesn't matter. What's going on in the markets right now, in silver markets, has nothing to do with me. I will make money in other places and lose money in other places while I wait for a far much more better place to sell silver. If I sell silver here, then I'm hoping it's a good long-term hold to somewhere down at about 18, 19, somewhere down here. It should give me a very healthy ROI, right? And you know, if that ever works out the way I hope it does, right? It'll be interesting to see if I can buy from here in that time in my life later on this year. It'll be very interesting to see if we can buy from there as well. Just want to quickly see something. Yes, we can. We can and we shall and we should. Right. So I'm taking a trade. So copper was naughty, man. Copper was a little bit naughty last year. We made a bit of money and then we got stopped out. I remember that very well. Copper was playing games, right? So let's go to the daily time frame, right? So I mean, this was what I always pray for is the power of one. I have this thing called the power of one, and the power of one is quite an interesting thing, right? So copper is going up like I said it would, but I was stopped out of copper. I just don't remember where, but I know for a fact, A, I'm not longer in these positions. B, my stop loss was hit before it could go up. I just can't. I'd be lying to you if I told you where or why or what. Let's go to the trading plan I had last year. Let's go to last year's trading plan, because then I can tell you the honest truth of what happened in copper. There we go. 10. When I analyzed this, blah blah blah, short pitch on it, did not. Yeah. So I like this level of detail about me, colleagues, because when I tell you, listen, I'm going to buy here, but remember, I'm buying here before a supply is taken. That always creates risk, because it's written there. I wrote this in October. When I last analyzed this pair copper, I believe I did a short video on it a few days of past, and copper did not, I put it in bold, did not first supply before coming down. So please watch your back moving forward. This could be a short buy or no buy with a daily supply and control. Come on, man. Leroy, thank you so much for being a good mentor, right? People need this. I need to know that I am doing a good job. I actually am doing a good job. That's why I told you guys, I warned you guys. So, and that's something to take notes of in the future. Look, you have to have that path clear. So I knew it was a risky trade. And lo and behold, you see where this white line is? That is literally where my stop loss was. And I remember losing this trade. I remember copper coming down, right? Taking me out here. I'm back on TradeView. And copper, by the way, is our second last asset. So this war room is almost over. Right, taking me out and then ranking, and now it's only now going up. So now if you look very carefully, because now we have to review the tape. When you lose a trade, you have to go back and ask the market at the end of the day, what the hell did you want from me? Because if I can get what you wanted from me, I will slowly but surely start to earn what it is I need to do more. So this is what I do. So I start to say, where was I? This is where I was in the market when I came up with that signal. What was there already? What was there in the markets was this. I marked this up in the PDF. Right? I think I'm playing. I did this in October. Let's go to the PDF so you can see it for yourself. I think my students will tell you this has been there since October in our remote course, right? But this is a remote course. If you haven't joined us, this is what it looks like with tons of lecture videos breaking down my entire strategy step by step, no step missed, every single rule, all the way to Big 7. Powerful lectures, awesome stuff. Very, very happy with the work in there. Right, so there's a signal for October 5. Right, look at this. Let's find copper. So we said copper was number 10, if I'm not mistaken, all the way down. Right, so you can see this had already happened. So now I've lost the trade. I need to review the tape. I now know that I've lost the trade. Now let's go back to where things were upon analysis so that I can tweak it better. I need to know why. Why did copper stop me out? Right, so in my mind, when I put this up, I thought, wow, what a clean buy right here. And then I say, no, it's not going to be a clean buy at all because the supply has not yet been taken out. I was like, okay, fine. So it's a risky buy. Now, but at the end of the day, I want to know where else could I have, you have to ask this. Well, all right, so then this is what the markets did. This is what the markets did, right? Let me just quickly get the replay bar going. Right, so there's the markets. Markets being markets, markets take me out, right? Okay, and the markets are now slowly going up. And so when that's happened now, and I'm trying to figure out what happened or what I could have done better or what to do better in the future, I simply figure out what the markets wanted. Simple. There wasn't strong momentum buying because that daily demand was a bear trap. I fell for a bear trap where it looks like they're going to allow the bulls to take over and buy, and they're just going to sell against me. What really happened is price went for a lower demand. I'm like, and this lower demand is more in line with module 2. The demands that are strong break bearish structure. The supplies that are strong break bullish structure. Got a bearish trend line here. Break test, break test. So price came back in. So instead of buying somewhere there, I had to be a little bit more patient, wait for another week or two, and get a better trigger. Now I know, fine, copper is sensitive, whatever. And I could be holding a buy from here back to this daily supply right now if I didn't jump the gun on that particular thing. All right, so copper is now up on the move, reapproaching a daily supply. I'm not too excited about selling. We are at things that we call unknown lands, right? Copper is currently at an all-time high. So at an all-time high, this becomes difficult. This was beautiful. By the way, hey, this COVID buy for copper. It was yum yum, man, yum yum. But I got out, pulled out some of it. But this was beautiful. But now we're at an all-time high. And copper is a bullish asset. I just want you to know this. The more they mine copper, the more supply is restricted. The less supply in the world of copper, the more price will keep going up. It's a basic investor's game, this one. This one, you put money here, you come back after 10 years, you and your kids are fine, right? Copper, it's just copper, silver, gold, Bitcoin, crypto, right? All these assets are all long-term investment vehicles, right? But at an all-time high, you don't know when price will turn. When price will turn, where price will turn from. You don't know until it's happening. And so the real truth is I need to wait for smart money to take profits on copper. I need them to feel like they've made all the billions of dollars in the world, number one. And then when they do, they will start to take profits. When they take profits, they will start to switch off their longs. Now let's look at the master spreadsheet. Yeah, I'm 3 weeks behind. I'll add the date today and blah, blah, blah. Send it to you. Right, but look, the momentum was 62% were longs, and then they started to cool off their positions the whole of November. Wait a minute, if you look at the charts, you'll start to see that cooling off. The choppiness that we saw, that lack of buying starts in with the week of November, there in this week here, right? All of this, November. This see that red candle there? That's November. So that's when they start to cool off their long positions. That's not enough. I don't want you to just cool them off. I want you to completely start to slowly remove them. So when I add the last 3 rows, you guys will see for yourselves this weekend when I'll send everyone an email. So please don't even worry about what's up in me. When is it out yet? You'll get an official email from me saying, registered students, check the remote course. It's now up there. All right. Until then, let me work on it. All right. So when they remove longs, automatically, once all long positions are closed, or most long positions are closed, the market automatically tanks. It has to, because there's now an imbalance. You see, this is a balance. You guys, I've taught you guys this stuff, man. Remember, we only want to trade imbalances. We want to trade when things are on the far side of the extremes, when there's more longs than shorts or more shorts than long. 51% and 48%. This is very balanced. This is very even killed. 47% long, 50, very balanced. So when they switch something off and something more starts to build momentum, then we've actually got a good play. So I want to buy this thing. It's a buy profile asset. I don't think I could time the sell perfectly. So what I want to do is to wait here. I'm going to wait here for copper. When I let them do what they do, I'm going to let them switch this whole thing off. I'm hoping that here they're starting to consolidate and build sell positions. If they don't, they'll probably go up. And if they go up, fine. It's fine. I'll trade other things. But copper will find me here on arbitrary. So I'll be waiting for you here, sir. I'll literally wait for you here. And when I buy it here, I'm going to hold it for a very long time. All right. So that's copper. The last one, I think Dow Jones. US 30, where's my wonder chart? US 30, that's better, right? And you have to start to really remember what Nasdaq looks like, and then compare to what the Dow Jones looks like, and then make a decision. Make a decision, right? Let me show you what I mean. I've taught on this many times in my public lectures. Primary market, secondary market that influences the risk. Nasdaq, Dow Jones are indices. I'm going to pull up Nasdaq weekly chart. Okay, so maybe it looks like here a toddler was controlling things. Right, you just have to ignore the mess right now. Right, so this is Nasdaq. Look at this consolidation, almost like a shoulder head type of situation. Who knows, right? And look at this on the Dow Jones, a weekly time frame as well, right? Almost like a steady chup, rising trend, trying its best to avoid breaking market structure. Dow Jones is trying its level best in the cutest way ever to avoid creating a lower low, right? Nasdaq don't care. Nasdaq just be like, yeah, I'm ripping through this. Let's go to the daily time frame on US 30. All right, US 30 is like, look, man, every time we come up here, we touch, we go up, we touch, we go up. We haven't touched, but let's go up. Probably because we are bouncing off a demand somewhere here, right? Somewhere here, there's somewhat of a demand. This is nice. Although I don't like to sell indices, but I just still want to ignore that. Right. So let's look at Nasdaq on the daily time frame. Right. So I think I was teaching someone on all these sessions. Let's just actually remove all this stuff. It's a bit clumsy, right? So if you, there we go. Do we have, I'm just looking for a leg to stand on, and I don't think I have one here. In terms of a trend line, right. So if you look at Nasdaq, and I know I've already covered Nasdaq, and I've already made my case for why I think price will keep dropping. But look, here's another perspective of Nasdaq, another different way to teach it. Look at this beautiful uptrend held from March 2021. And Leroy did tell you about that March to March. There's no time. Let me just be serious. right? And then markets break structure with big supply. They didn't just break the trend line. There was an order block supply to do that, right? So I know for a fact this has to happen. I've been waiting for you. Dow Jones is still to break a trend line. Primary market, secondary market. We shall see. Right, but yeah, neither here nor there. We still have time to recruit. 365 guys, if you enjoyed this, let me know. Please don't forget to like the videos. Liking the videos tells YouTube that I'm not on holiday throughout December and I'm back, and our stuff deserves to be put in front of every single trader's face who deserves this information. So please do like. I would appreciate. We reboot the algorithm. Today is Friday, so the next time I will see you live. We are doing our first live war room this Sunday, 4:30 South African time on our channel. So please do subscribe. Thank you so much for sticking this through to the end. All the best with your trading. Register for the course if you want to get the best out of this, to get the best out of the academy. I appreciate all of you. Have a good day. Don't forget, we are running by the side of all of this a podcast, right? A powerful podcast and helping people to think through their finances. It is not a waste of time. Reading books is never a waste of time. You eat every day. You eat every day because your body needs substance. Because if you don't eat every day, you will fall apart. You have no choice but to drink water. It is the functional part of your body that requires water. Without water, you will literally die. Your mind needs to be fed every single day. The number of years you have starved your mind are a direct reflection of where you are today. So the Money Heist podcast is probably the most important thing there. Even though it's not purely trading content, a lot of it is going to help you. So please, Money Heist podcast, 365 Money Heist podcast is for free on Spotify, Anchor, and obviously here on our YouTube channel. Tune into that. Every single day, there will be a video and an audio for you, a chapter a day of a good book. It is absolutely important. 365, shake my hand. Have a good day. If you made it to the end, do let me know as usual. I like to know that kind of stuff. Cheers and goodbye.